All right, so we want to continue from where we left off. So our objective for today, objectives is to be able to see how we can combine columns into one. The next objective is to see how we can order our tables based on a particular column. So I would call it order by. And then the next objective would be the select distinct. So select distinct. Alright, so we'll start with the first one, which is combining columns into one. So how exactly do we do that? So the first thing we want to do is to be able to create another table that will have two columns this time around. So I'm going to create a table that will have a column of serial number, a column of first name, a column of second name, and a column of course. So we'll start by creating the table first. As a first thing, so you say create table. Alright, I'll say create table. So I'll call it order table. You can give it any name you want. Order table, doesn't matter. So as usual, I'll give it a serial number. So this time around, I would use small letter. So serial. So I'll have a first name. I'll have my character variant. I'll give it 50 characters. You can decide to leave it as unlimited. You can choose not to specify the number of characters that column would have a maximum value of by leaving out this value here in the parentheses. So we would have another second name, and it will also be character variant of 50 characters. And the next one would be my course. And it also have a character variant of 50. So one of the things we're going to look at after we combine, we are also going to treat aliases. So we would look at what an alias is. So we would look at what an alias is, then we'll continue. Right, so you want to insert into this table. So let us execute the create table statement first of all. You want to execute it and run. Alright, so now inside the parentheses we specify first name and second name. So we are not passing our serial number here because it automatically generates the numbers for us as we insert values into our tables. So the first one, you can just give it any name, Alex. The next one, Brian. And also for the course as well, specify the course column. Then you would come down here, physics. Then you put a comma for the next value. You specify the course. The next one, okay, so you want to insert into the table by highlighting everything and running it. So it has inserted 3 rows into a table. So now we want to be able to combine these 2 columns together into one. We want to combine them together into one column. So how exactly do we do that? And for that. So you can just be writing them down to combine columns. Combine columns. You just use select. Now you want to specify each of their names. So I'll say serial number. Then the next one is first name. Now you use a stroke. You use this symbol so your keyboard. It depends on the configuration of your laptop, but it is in the same place where this symbol is, this backslash, that same place. So the way you can access this is by pressing shift and the key that produces this. So this would bring this symbol out for you. So this is the symbol we use to be able to concatenate. So concatenate simply means adding 2 string values together. So after you write down that symbol, you put a quotation mark, a single quotation, and you create a white space with your space bar, and you put it again, the symbol, and you write second name. Now you can choose to, now since you are joining these 2 columns together, you can decide to give them a title. So because as you are joining them together, this would produce or create a new column. So in order for you to give that column a title, you want to give it an alias name. So I will just give it as full name. You can decide to give it any name you want, but I'm making mine full name. Then you put a comma, then you specify the course column. Say course. You say as, sorry, from rather. You say from, and you specify the table that you are trying to extract them from. You highlight it and you run the command. So now you will discover that my previous table that I had, okay, let us print out the result for the table before we show the result for the alias. So the result for my table is select asterisk from order table. And you see that it will print out everything, the serial number, first name, second name, course. Now what I did was that I combined these 2 columns together and I put a white space separating their value so that after it joins them together, Alex would not be joined to Brian, but they would be together in the same column and they would have a white space separating the both of them. So after I did that, that's what this white space does. So it brings my first name and second name column together, separating the values with a white space and giving it a new name called full name. So it gives it a full name, a new name called full name. So you can see that here, that's the new name now. It has combined those two columns together, and we have it. So that's how you can combine two columns together in the table. And an alias, so you can see that here I gave it an alias, which is a name used in place of the original names. So you can see that now full name is representing my first name and my second name at the same time. It's representing the both of them at the same time. So that's how it works. You can also decide to put them in parentheses to show that this is what you are actually giving an alias to. The two columns combined together. Alright, so we are done with these two objectives, which are combining columns into one and an alias. So we won't be wasting time so that we can maximize everything that we want to do. Okay, so now the next thing we want to look at is the order by statement. So what does the order by do? So now this allows us to arrange our data in a table in either an ascending or a descending order using a single column. So it allows us to use a single column from our table to arrange all our data inside the entire table in an ascending or a descending order. So what does that mean? So let's say, for example, now I want to use my course, this my course column, to arrange this my table in an ascending order. So what this will do is that this will bring chemistry as the first, because alphabetically we know that C comes before P and M comes before P. So we're going to have chemistry, mathematics, physics. So now all the values that follow this row, all the values, they will go along with that value. So since it's this column I'm using to arrange the data in my table in either an ascending or a descending order, the corresponding values on that row would go along with the value I'm using to order my table. What does that mean? If I arrange this my table in an ascending order using chemistry will come to this place where physics is, and as chemistry comes to this place, Greg Lucas follows chemistry as well because it's on that row. So this row goes to the top, this row maintains its position, and the physics row comes as the last. So now the way the query would look like, to look like this. So select, now you can select them one after the other, or you can decide to select them as a whole by using the asterisk symbol. So you can either say select asterisk from, or you can select them one after the other. I think I would prefer to do the latter. So select serial number, first name. Now remember, this is not the original column name. It was an alias used in place of the original names, which were first name and second name. So I used full name to represent them. So if I'm to order my table again, I'm going to use the original data from my table, which are first name, second name, course. So first name, second name, course, from order table. from order table, then you come here and you use the order by statement. So that's what, so now this statement allows us to now specify the column we are trying to use to arrange the data in our table in either an ascending or a descending order. So I would say order by course. Now you have to specify it. So since I'm arranging in an ascending order, I would say ASC. This allows me to arrange my data in an ascending order using that column. Now you run it, you discover that it's going to arrange everything in an ascending order. Okay, I didn't spell it properly. You say select first name. You run your query. So now you notice that chemistry takes Lucas and Greg. So Lucas and Greg, if you can remember, chemistry was at the bottom side while physics was at the top. But because I used my order by, it took chemistry to the first because I'm using that column here. And alphabetically, chemistry is before mathematics and physics. So you can see that I put it at the top. The row that has mathematics is the second, and the row that has physics is the last. So you can order your table using whichever column you like. You can use this. Now for a descending order, you say, instead of writing ASC, you say DESC. Because if you can remember, the order by allows us to arrange data in our table using a particular column in either an ascending or a descending order. So if I run this, you will discover that the reverse would be the case. So physics takes back its original position, mathematics and chemistry. So it has just arranged our table using the course column in a descending order. So starting from the last element in the alphabet, so you can see that physics comes, P comes after M, and M comes after C. So that's how you can arrange in an ascending or descending order. Alright, so the next one is the select distinct. What does the distinct statement say? Now the distinct statement, so this statement allows us to extract unique values from a table. So it allows us to extract unique values from a table. So what unique values simply mean is that even if a value repeats itself, or whether the value, so unique simply means if a value is repeating itself or not. So if a value is repeating itself or not, it is only going to be extracted only once. That is what unique means. Alright, so we will try to create a table that has some values that are duplicated. So I'll create a table. So create table. I'll just call it colors with the Z, colors. Then I'll give it your serial number. Serial number. I will call it color 1. Obviously, I'll just say CHAR and I'll give it a minimum of 10. You can use your character variant, your character, your text, whichever one you want. But I'm choosing to use CHAR. No special reason. Alright. So after that, we want to now insert values into this table. You say insert into colors. You have color 1, color 2, sorry. It's color 1, color 2. Color 1, color 2. You have values. Right, the first value is going to be red. You have blue. You have pink. You have green. You have blue. So just give it random values. Yellow. Blue again. Green. You have red. You have blue. So now these are the values I'm trying to insert into this table. So I'll just create my table first. Create my table, and after that I will insert into the table as well. Then you save. So now, in order for us to extract unique values using the distinct, you just say select distinct in the first column, color 1, color 2 from colors. Alright, so what this would do now, this would remove, now since I'm using distinct, and this is using the 2 columns for us, and what this simply means is that any value that repeats itself on these 2 columns is going to remove the duplicate and leave the original. So like I said, unique values are values that are extracted only once, even though they occur more than once. So you can see here in our table we have red and blue, red and blue. So of course you know that it's going to remove this last one, leaving only the original, and we're going to have the rest values still there. Now since I'm using both columns, it's going to look for values that are repeated on both columns. So we get the picture. So if you highlight it, you will discover that the last red and blue is not there. Highlight it and you run your query, discover that the last red and blue, we only have one red and blue rather. So you can see that we have only one red and blue. Only one red and blue. But let us also select with the serial number as well. Right, so serial number does not repeat itself anyway, so we can't use that. So using just based on the columns, you can see that we have just one red and blue extracted, even though we had 2. So that's how you can use the distinct. Now you can also look at the distinct on. So now the distinct on allows us to extract data from a table specifying on only one column. So what does that simply mean? Let's take for example, if I say distinct on color 1, for example, if I use color 1 to extract from this table, it's going to remove all the duplicate values here, leaving only the original. I'm just taking as an example. To remove all the duplicate values, so to remove this red and this blue, leaving only red, pink, and blue. And if I'm also including the second column, it will also match it with its original values, blue, green, and yellow. So this will print out red, blue, pink, green, blue, yellow. But it's using this column, that's why I said distinct on. So it's going to first remove the duplicates from this column and then match them with the corresponding values of the second column. And if I'm also using distinct on this column as well, it's going to remove the duplicate values, leaving only the original. So it will remove green and blue, leaving only blue, green, yellow, and match them with their corresponding values on the other column. So that's how it works. So this one was for distinct, while the next one we are looking at is distinct on. So distinct on. So you just say select distinct on. So I'll just say color 1. Sorry, color 1. Then you specify the columns you want to see. Color 1, color 2 from colors. Yeah. And you highlight it, then you will discover that it's going to remove the duplicate values, leaving only red, pink, and blue, and it would remove the other two duplicated values rather. Sorry. So you spell it properly. I want to spell that properly. So you can see that we have blue, pink, and red. So we have blue, pink, and red. And you can see it has removed the other two values that were duplicated, and it has matched them with their corresponding values. So you can see blue, yellow, pink, green, red, blue, red, blue. So it removed the other two values that were duplicated. So likewise, if you also use distinct on color 2, it will remove those values that were duplicated here as well. If I say distinct on color 2, it will also remove the duplicated values as well. So you can see that here we have blue, green, and yellow. The other green and blue have been removed, and the matching values are also matched as well. So blue, red, you can see blue, red, green, pink, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. The other two values that were duplicated have been removed. So that's all for our objective for today. So you want to asterisk it out. So till our next video, have a good day.